We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Welcome to this week's Flippinar. Possibly it's only going to be Renika and myself. For those of you all that are already loading in the chat room on each platform, welcome aboard. Please announce where you are, and we'll happily answer your questions also. How's it going, Renikia?
Today has been a great day. This week been great.
All right, that's what's happening. Made any money? I think she's muted. Boom. You good?
Yes.
You good? So you said this week has been good?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you were saying your week has been good?
It's been great. It's been a great week. Just coming out here knocking out, things that you put on your task. And the more you knock them out, the more you feel good. So I feel really great.
Okay, all right. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and start reading out the questions here. Let me make sure people can get to us through the website. Boom, we got that. But guys, bear with me. When Adrian's not here, I'm going to be a little lost sometimes. I'm trying to do all this technical stuff in the background, but y'all know what it is. Okay, so we already got people here on Facebook. We have them here on YouTube also. Okay, so let's see, we got Amy, I think that's how it's pronounced, from Richmond, California. We got Joshua in Sacramento. We got, I think this is Adrian in New Jersey. So let's start with some questions here. From BLAC. All right. How long do you think it takes to receive results with bandit signs? I got 200 out there for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm. To me, it's really not a time frame. It's a consistency. It's a consistency. You have to consistently put those signs out there on a weekly basis. And over time, you'll begin to get a lot of traction. But if you don't see anything for the first month, it's really consistency that truly bring in that flow of people that's calling your phones.
Yeah, also, I always like to ask them, well, how many of your signs do you, out of that 200, which I normally don't suggest, just especially if it's your first time, not going crazy like that, because the worst thing you want to happen is that you put them all out and they're all down, within the next couple of days. So my question is always going to be, how many of those signs are still up or whatever? So,
Right.
So that would be, and then you and I, of course, we've been doing it a long time in one form of another. And it makes sense to us where we place the signs, but for some people, they don't know, they don't get it. I had a friend of mine here locally. She's been knowing I've been doing it or whatever, and so with her situation, she needed to try to generate income, with her family situation changing, and I just told her where to buy the signs from or whatever, and she started putting them out, and she just didn't get it. So I told her, I said, well, we finally got together one day and I showed her how, why you put out signs a certain way. So what I'm saying all that to say, just because you have 200 signs out there, we're going to assume that you put them out a certain type of way or whatever, because not to keep dwelling on this, but I think it's important. Like, you can't put signs where people don't stop. Right. They can't read your message at 25 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? It's already, you're already struggling when they are stopped for them to read your message, because they're not looking for it. So if they're riding at 25 miles an hour, just using that low speed, they're not going to be able to read your entire message. But some people don't get that. They just think they should go out, no matter where. No, it's a method to the madness.
Absolutely. I see signs all the time on the ramp getting on the highway, which I think is one of the dumbest places. I would say one of the dumbest places you can ever put a sign
you're right.
on a ramp getting on a busy highway, because first of all, they got to pay attention to get on a busy highway. So I just don't think, and expect me to read your sign and write your number down as I'm getting on a busy highway. You would never get any hits. So he's totally right. When you first start, it is kind of a trial and error. You want to determine what areas are getting the most hit. You want to determine, where are you looking? Are you all over the place? Or are you looking at a certain neighborhood and a certain zip code, and you you focus in on that area? Also, I like putting out signs in the stop signs in subdivisions and neighborhoods that I want to invest in, because I know that most likely you will stop at that stop sign, and you can sit there for a good minute to read the sign and write down the number. So I love vetting signs. I love putting my signs in neighborhoods that I want to invest into.
All right. Next question from Joshua. He says, I have a question. Are homes that were deeded through a gift deed, is it good to contact people to try and buy their homes?
If it's for sale and the numbers make sense, go for it. Absolutely. Because those are the ones that probably could be a low-hanging fruit. They didn't, they have no sentiment value to it. It was gifted down to them. They have to keep up the maintenance of something that was gifted to them. So a lot of times people don't want to deal with the day-to-day or the annual or the monthly upkeep of those properties. So I think it's a good avenue to reach out to people who have been gifted a property.
All right. Next question from Sydney. He says, can either one of you give me some advice on cold calling potential motivated sellers once I get their information?
Okay. I think we both can tackle this, but I really almost say the same thing every time. I mean, according to how they react to the conversation, I always lead the conversation of who I am and that I'm a seasoned investor in the area, and I'm very interested in purchasing their property. If they really want to sell, what do they want to sell it for? And the fact that I am a cash buyer and I can close them in a couple weeks, I always get people attention. So I would say when you call them, you have to sound confident, because if it's in an area that a lot of people are looking into, they'll probably get a lot of those calls. So you almost got to build a little rapport, and you got to sound very confident that you are the buyer. They don't want to deal with a middleman. Nobody wants to deal with a middleman. So you don't want to position yourself as the middleman. You want to position yourself as, I am a cash buyer and I want to purchase your property. We're actually looking at a lot of other houses in the neighborhood that we're purchasing as well. And if you're trying to sell, I want to purchase. And then you start talking numbers. As I said last week, never be the first person to throw out a number.
Yeah, the thing about reaching out to someone, I guess this is a form of sales in some sort, but you are calling to give out money versus most people when they're calling on a sales call, they're calling asking for money. So the conversation, you're gonna always get fools on the line. You can just get ready for that. So, but most people are reasonable. They'll just let you know, I'm not interested at this time, blah blah blah. But their situation may change, so you do want to follow up maybe 3 months or 6 months later. Anything could have happened. Not wishing anything bad on people, but anything can happen where now, I didn't want to sell before, but now I want to sell now, whatever. But as the way the conversation, as Bernicia said, as far as the conversation, you want to sound like you got $10 million in the bank, even if you got $10 in the bank. And, you let them know that she said we pay cash, we buy as is, We close in, I normally just say 2 to 4 weeks. We pay all closing costs minus any unpaid taxes, mortgages, or liens. You know, most people understand that. If they don't, you break it down for if they have an unpaid mortgage, that normally comes out of their proceeds. They have any unpaid taxes, that comes out of their proceeds. They have any unpaid liens, that comes out of their proceeds. But all other closing costs you'll take care of. In reality, you're just passing that on to your buyer. You know, so that's why you're comfortable saying. And sometimes you'll have buyers that want you to pay part of the closing costs. Sometimes I paid it all. You know, I'm not going to let $1,200 keep me from making $18,000. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's the way I look at it. You know, so
yes. So smart. Sometimes throw yourself out there and tell them that you would take care of some things. If you get down to the closing table of signing a contract, as if I give you a particular deal we're dealing with right now that we're looking to close, probably is going to take us the first week of April to close. But the homeowner didn't want it to go over the first week of April because she didn't want to pay property taxes. I said, okay, cool. You don't have to pay property taxes. We'll pay that. We'll pay the prorated property taxes of any date that it go over in April. So, you know, so it makes people feel comfortable, especially when you're looking to make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, what it is to pay somebody property taxes. So understand that power of negotiation. Be okay with paying certain things, especially if you know that you're going to get a lump sum at the end of the day.
That's what's happening. Yeah. All right. Next question. All right. I'm horrible. There's someone who states they have a vacant homeowner lead. Is that true? How can I get these vacant home leads myself? I guess what they're asking, someone is trying to probably sell them vacant house leads or whatever. And there are services out there that do that. But in reality, well, what do you think about that? Because it could go so many directions.
It's a hit or miss. Yeah. It's a hit or miss. I think all these leads and lists that you can pay, it's all a hit or miss, you know. Yeah. But to me, it's about consistency. If you consistently do something and it works, you just continue to do it. So it's just like the guy with the signs. That could be a hit or miss if you put the signs out in all wrong places. So I would just vet the source and make sure the source is you know, a reliable source for one. But to me, purchasing lists, you never know what you're gonna purchase. You never know how many people already called these people. So it's just marketing dollars, but it's consistency of multiple marketing strategies that works. But relying on one, that could probably hurt you.
All right. Over to Facebook, the last three were off of YouTube, but over to Facebook, I'm not sure how they pronounce their first name, but Golson is their last name. How many signs should I put up a week?
That's a good question. I think if you consistently do it, in my opinion, 25 to 50 signs a week, that puts you at 100 to 200 a month. If you consistently, especially if you locating certain areas, certain neighborhoods, certain zip codes that you want to, and you're more strategic about what you're doing, putting out 25 signs in one neighborhood every week, you're going to get some attraction. So determine where you want to put these signs out. But in my opinion, when I first started putting out 25 to 50 signs a week, we really doubled up somewhat on 100 signs every weekend, putting us at about 400 signs out there a month. But most importantly is vetting those areas, but starting off maybe with 25, 50 signs a week would be decent. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now you can attract if certain neighborhoods, certain places, and things of that nature gets more attraction. What do you think?
Okay. All right. Question from Strawberry something.
But let me take that back. If you don't have money for 50 signs, put out your 5 signs. Locate an area that has worked for you. I don't care if it's 5 signs. So it's only taking 1 sign for someone to call you. So if you consistently put out a 1 sign, but put out what you can according to your budget, but just consistently do it on a weekly, monthly basis.
Okay. Strawberries something. Oh, strawberries candy from YouTube. I said, how do you wholesale in tough markets like Los Angeles? Let me start this one off.
Please.
Los Angeles is probably what, about maybe about 10, 12 million people metro. Wouldn't you say? At least that. It's going to be, it's the second largest market behind New York City market, right? How is that market tough? You got people that are dying in Los Angeles, I'm sure of that. You have people that are getting divorced in Los Angeles, I'm sure of that. They're losing jobs / incomes, medical bills, they're relocating, tired landlords. I'm saying just life situations that create motivated sellers. Your job is to do an effective job of letting these people know you exist through your marketing and advertising. If you do an effective job of that, you're going to make money. That market is huge. You could do 30 deals. You could do 30. Okay, it's March now, right? According to as the date of this video. All right. You could do 30 deals this year and no one would know you existed. But in a market like that, that may mean $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Because the prices of houses are so much more than what Renika and I are used to being in Birmingham and being in Atlanta. You know, the hood in Los Angeles will be $200,000. The hood in Birmingham is $70,000. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so it's no such thing as a market like that being tough. A market that's being tough is one that's only $50,000 as far as population. But you're talking about millions of people, millions. But go ahead. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. It's almost impossible to lose because it's a numbers game. The more people you have to sell to, the more opportunity. So I would say I would assume that maybe the houses and the inventory come pretty easy. So what you want to do is connect with your cash buyers. So if you have the cash buyers, or are you connecting with those, top the people with a lot of money out there in Cali, which I'm sure they all over the place, depending on certain areas. You connecting with these people and they're real buyers, you're gonna go out and just become their bird dog. Basically what you're doing. So which is what I love to do. I love reverse wholesaling. Go connect with the people that want to buy in California. Go connect with the investors that is purchasing and buying in California. And you go and try to find properties for them. And reverse wholesale. Where are you buying? Where you want to be? What's your price range? And I'm gonna go in that area and I'm gonna put my signs in that area and I'm gonna try to find as many properties as I can possibly find in that price range, in that area that my buyer wants.
Yeah, I got a buyer right now. He's really a wholesaler, but he's so connected. Find a deal in Los Angeles right now. Please contact me and we can make some money, but it has to be a deal. There's stuff out there for sale. There's a difference in it being a great deal than for sale. So anyway.
Only a deal is a deal. Don't try to make it work. Only a deal is a deal.
That's it. All right. Joe from Facebook. Well, let me see here. He says, can you give an example of a good lease option deal? I get a lot of calls from homeowners who want to sell, but their houses don't need much work. Just curious on how to structure a deal with them. But before we answer that, if anybody out there, I should have put this at the beginning, but whatever. If anybody out there is a programmer / developer that can develop sites, I'll just give you the perfect example. Something similar to Zillow or Realtor.com. You got those type of skills, you need to contact me. Let's partner up. So back to that question on lease option deals. What do you think?
So pretty houses. There's a terminology that talks about how to flip pretty houses. And pretty houses are the ones that don't need much work. And really the way that you do that, you have to determine what are their mortgage and their payoff for one, because what you're going to do is give them a offer and give them a down payment on that. They're going to give you, this is just a lease purchase. It's very simple. You're going to do a lease with the option to purchase. They may ask for a down payment, maybe $10,000. They may give you 2 to 3 years to pay them out. And you have to, they're going to give you a lease purchase that's probably itemized as if they are the buyer selling it to you. So you may get a lease purchase, even though you can lease it out for $1,000, their lease purchase and what you have with the homeowner may be $600. So if you put somebody in there at $1,000, that means you have a $400 cash flow. And on top of that, the person that you're putting into your deal is someone who want to purchase the property. So you give them the same terms that they giving you. So if you have 3 years to purchase this property, you want to give your tenant who's going to come in and do a lease purchase 2 years to purchase the property. And also on top of that, they may charge you $10,000 down payment. You charge your tenant $20,000 down payment. So you make money on the down payment, you make money on the cash flow of the business. And say, for instance, you probably put it on a contract with the homeowner right now for $150,000. You may put it on the contract with the end buyer for $210,000. So when they come and cash you out, you make that difference. You make that cash flow every month. You make the difference on the sale when they cash you out, and you make the difference on the down payment.
Boom. There you go. So next on Facebook, we have Eric Corny. That's our movie trivia guy. He and I go back and forth. I think it's him. He says, when picking the right places to place banner signs as per your video, how do you determine the best areas? Maybe I'm just not getting it. I'll just give my 2 cents on it first, if you don't mind, Miss Williams.
Absolutely.
Well, if you've never done it before, we're going to take that mindset, okay? If they've never done it before. All right. What I always try to encourage people to do, a lot of people don't like to do this. I'm sure, well, you're in the business, so you got to be. You're all over Atlanta, right? Just all over. Just no
Absolutely.
part of Atlanta you not, you just all over,
Absolutely.
But you have people that get into business and they just want to do it around where they live. Sometimes that's not possible when you start talking about using bandit signs, because normally most cities, from my understanding, I know each city is different. In a lot of the quote unquote suburban areas, you're not going to be able to get away with a large number of bandit signs that's going to make a huge difference. Sometimes, and so that means you're going to have to get outside of your comfort area. And so a market like Atlanta is so huge and encompassing. It may take you a couple of weeks in your spare time to identify areas where you say, oh, there go bandit signs in this area. And you'll notice those signs, they'll look like they've been up a while. You know what I'm saying? And so ideally, to make it easier on yourself when you're starting out, you'll start in those areas where signs already exist, is what I normally tell people. I know everybody want to be off by themselves or whatever, but normally there's a reason why there are not signs in certain areas, because the guys that have, understand, bandit signs are nothing new. I didn't invent those. I hope y'all don't think any of this stuff we're talking about, I didn't invent it. but they're nothing new. So the guys that have been using them in your market, they've already tested most of the areas. Now, you still can test areas that don't have signs, but like she said, maybe 5 signs. See how it may wait a week, see how long those are up, and then go back and compound if those still up, put out more. But they all come down, they let you know, hey, you wasting your time and money. So the easy thing to do is to identify where signs already exist. But in most cases, you're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone. Just going to work and where you live, to shop and whatever. Normally people just shop within their normal radius of where they live for the most part. So you got to get outside your comfort zone and really learn your market as far as where you probably can get away with signing. You might, and then just one more thing, they might say, well, I don't want to invest over there. I don't want to go over there and look at it. Okay, that's fine too. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But there are people that will. I get, okay, if that's your thing or whatever, but hey, I don't know about you, Renika, those checks spin the same. They cash the same.
Absolutely.
And they spin the same.
As long as it's green, we going. But I totally agree with that. And just to add on top of that, I just go where the money is. So you got to determine what are the hot pockets. If your backyard is not the hottest pocket or the hottest area in your area, move where the properties are moving fast. Move where the properties are, the ARV and the comps are high. Move in the areas that people want to invest. And I look at areas two different ways. I look at area. This is the area that I do most buying holds in. These are areas where no one is really flipping. People are not purchasing high value homes, but it's a great rental area. Great. And then I look in the area where the ARV are high, the comps are high, and this is the area where people are buying into, and they don't mind buying retail properties with high value and high prices. So distinguish those areas. You got to know your market. You got to figure out what is the hottest areas in my market. And you determine, if I was all of you all, I would sit there and write down the top 5 hottest zip codes, hottest neighborhoods in my market, and determine if it's a buy and hold area or is it a flipping area. Because you may get an investor, they want to buy and hold. They don't want to flip. Those are the properties in here in Atlanta that we're picking up all in under $50,000. So determine those things, and that's the area that you go after, and you put your sign in those areas.
All right. Okay. Not sure what the handle is off of YouTube, but how do you get a house that is about to go into auction that is in foreclosure? I guess they mean it's going to the foreclosure auction.
Okay. So if it's going into, like, if a bank have foreclosed on it, the only way you can stop it if the homeowner contact the bank and tell the bank that they have a ready investor a ready buyer. A buyer who's ready to purchase can stop any foreclosure, and that really determines how deep they are in the foreclosure process. If you're like one day away from hitting the courthouse step, it's almost impossible to stop it. But if you're like a week in, if you're a week in and before it hits the courthouse steps, that homeowner, if it's foreclosure as far as the county foreclosed on you, that means you haven't paid your taxes. That means that the homeowner can actually call down to the county and pay those taxes, and it'll stop the foreclosure. The other foreclosure is when the bank forecloses on you because you haven't paid your mortgage. In that case, the homeowner can do the same thing, is contact the bank and say they have someone. They can either contact the bank, you can catch them up on their mortgage payment, or they can contact the bank if they're doing a short sale. Let them know they want to do a short sale and they have a buyer that wants to purchase.
Yeah, somebody followed up to that and it said, Sadell, you need cash to buy at auction. Yeah, if it gets to that point, yeah, you don't need
absolutely
cash. Yeah.
Yes, you need cash. You need a cashier check.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great place to find real buyers because everybody down there has a cashier's check on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I literally met a guy that we closed about 70 properties with in a matter of 45 days. He was a Nigerian guy. I'll never forget him. But he was down on the courthouse step with like $500,000 in his pocket. It was like, no, you're not purchasing any of those. You come with us and we showing you our properties, and he closed on them. So never underestimate. If I were everybody, you want to make sure you go down to the county courthouse. Here in Atlanta, it's every first Tuesday or every month. You want to determine when they do the auction in your county, in your state. And you want to make sure you go down there and pass out your business cards. It's nothing but investors and people that purchase and buy real estate down there. It's not crowd stuff.
Okay. Yvonne, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, from YouTube says, guys reading, I'm looking to the right here or whatever. I ain't you seeing that because I had the other device set up over here. So anyway, I'm new to this. My daughter and I both have 700 plus credit scores. Good. Can we leverage our combined credit to get 100% financing to purchase and rent multifamily buildings? That question is for you.
Okay. That's a good question. I'm glad we're bringing this up because a lot of you all contact me and wanting credit. No, we don't do scammer business. I get those emails. I don't do scammer business. This is an opportunity to level up. This is an opportunity where we're taking strategies and things that the high net worth and the rich people do, and we're taking those same strategies and we're doing the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. So everything that we're doing has already been done. It's just you don't know what you don't know. So to answer your question, absolutely yes. You can leverage your credit with at least a 680 or higher. You can leverage your credit, receive up to $150,000 unsecured credit. It's no financials based, no financials, no tax returns, bank statements, income verification, uncollateralized assets is needed for you to qualify. It's all about what's in your report. From there, we show you, and it comes at 0% interest for up to the first 18 months. From there, we show you exactly how to use that money as the down payment. I call it gap funding. Why I call it gap funding is because a hard money lender will give you money to purchase a property and money to rehab it. But you will always have to come to the table with some skin in the game, which is anywhere from 10 to 20%, depending on your experience. You haven't flipped a deal, you might as well go allocate 20% down payment if you haven't flipped a deal yet. So with that being said, that means that if someone's going to give me all that money, they're going to give me the money to purchase and money to buy, I just need to come to the table my 20%. That's why we use the gap funding. We use the gap funding to be able to qualify for the hard money loan. We use the gap funding as the down payment piece that you need to secure a hard money loan. So absolutely yes. Do I recommend that two people do this together? No. Everyone go through their own funding. Therefore, as your daughter and mother, with you all two, if you went to it together, that means that you all may get $120,000 together. But if you do it separate, she get 100 and you get 100, you have $200,000 buying power. So you want to do it separate. Every partner on your team needs to do this separately so you have more buying power at the end of the day. So to answer your question, of course, a lot of people want to purchase, multifamily and things of that nature, but it all costs. So to just think about it like this, you're going to need at least minimally about 30% of that acquisition plus rehab. So if that acquisition and rehab, say for instance, for simple terms, is $1 million, you got to come to the table with 30%. That means you have to come to the table with $300,000. So that's how you qualify. Most apartment complexes and commercial properties like that, apartment complex, you can almost use the income if you purchase a income producing apartment complex that is not vacant, that is actually occupied. You can actually use some of that income that you get on a monthly basis to qualify for the loan. So to purchase, you're gonna just allocate 30% of your all-in costs. That's purchase and rehab. If it's $1 million, that's $300,000 that you have to bring to the table.
Okay. Now, Diana is on Facebook. She's asked several questions. So, but some, they're pretty good here. So I'm not going to ask them all. But here's one of them. Is she said, I'm a licensed realtor in DC, in Maryland. Should I use MLS to find motivated sellers and buyers?
It's a really great question. I'm a realtor as well. It's a really great question. So to be honest with you, yes, you can. Yes, you can. But when they teach you as a real estate agent or a broker, they teach you how to go find sellers. It's the same thing you want to do. Why? Because once it hits the market, it's probably marked up. It's really hard to wholesale a property that's already on the market. Now, if you look into purchase properties to purchase and rehab, absolutely yes, it's a great source. But if you looking for those properties and wholesale them, you got to understand that MLS is pretty much public record. You can type in any MLS address, and most likely that MLS listing is going to pop up in your search. So if you're out here trying to sell a property at $75,000 and I see it on MLS for 60, I'm just gonna go around you. And then it shows your cards at the same time. So I feel somewhat that it's harder to wholesale a property that's on MLS. Why? Because the price is already out there. You cannot manipulate, not necessarily manipulate, you can't add on what you want to add on, because people begin to pick your pockets then. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. You're trying to flip or wholesale. But both of them are great sources, but also use the skill set that they teach you on how to become a listing agent. You become a listing agent by going out and finding motivated sellers. So once you become a listing agent and you begin to go out and find motivated sellers, you can actually probably sell those properties before you even put it on the market.
Okay. And just to follow up on that, as she said, it's possible, but it's harder. This is the way I always tell them, Renika, you can do it if you got the right type of buyer. I call them lazy buyers, because if it's a listed property, it's already advertised, and real players in your market, meaning investors, they're getting pounded with realtors sending them those same listings, right? Now you can negotiate a deal that's possibly listed on them. It may be listed on MLS, and they're asking 100, and you get them to take 50. That's possible, or whatever. But you still gonna have to have the right type of buyer, because if it's somebody you don't know, you've never done business with, first thing they're gonna always do is Google the address. So if it's listed, it's gonna come up on Zillow as listed. It's gonna come up on Realtor.com as listed. Trulia, Redfin, it's just gonna come up on. That's just how. And it's not like it's a secret. You know what I'm saying? So if you got the right type of buyer that they just want you to feed them deals, they really not internet savvy, just didn't have the time, then yeah, you can kill it. You can kill it or whatever, because you just sit around there and just make offers on MLS all day. Realtors be mad at you because of all the low balls that you send it in. But even if you're going to do that, being that you're an agent, I know you want to try to collect, you want to double dip, make money from the wholesale deal and possibly on the commission. You're gonna have to probably give up one of them. When I deal with brokers or agents, whether it's commercial or residential, I'm always gonna contact the listing agent directly, because I want to give them a chance to make 100% commission. Right. So I'm going to allow the greed of humans to play in my favor. You know what I'm saying? Because they would make, now some of them are, and I know it sounds like I don't like realtors, but some of them are so trained in the way that they, normally it's like 6% or 5%, because just you got to calculate, ridiculous. 6% of 100 is 6,000. We both know that. That's easy math, right? Okay, so you can sit, and so if they normally have to split that with another agent, if they brought a buyer to the table for 3%, so now instead of you making 6, you would make 3, right?
Right.
Okay, so and then they still got to, if they're not a broker themselves, they got to split with their broker, whatever that split is. Maybe 80-20, 90-10, 60-40. It depends on where you are and who you're with, right?
Right.
Okay, so but if you contact them directly and you offer 60, right? And they would still, that's 3,600. 6% on 60 is 3,600. So in reality, even though the price has been reduced by 40, they still make more money than they would if they'd have sold it at 100. Because in most cases, they're not going to list the property and find the buyer. It just normally doesn't work like that for realtors. Would you agree with that? Okay. So, but they won't, and see, and the reason I'm saying that because if they go to the seller and say, "Hey, we got an offer for 60,000," they lowballing this. I know we can get a better deal, right? And the seller be like, "Okay," but if they go to the seller, "We got an offer for 60. I don't think we can get a better deal than this." Don't ever underestimate the persuasion of the agent, just the attitude of them going back to the seller, because they've had to trust them to some degree to allow them to have the listing. You see what I'm saying? And what they value the agent's opinion at. So you have to understand the game that you're playing, because whenever you bring a realtor into the deal, you're interjecting someone else's income into the deal, what they're trying to make off the deal. So it can be done. You just got to understand what you're doing or whatever. And as I said, more importantly, you're going to have the right type of buyer for those, so.
Right. So at the end of the day, determine what you're trying to do. You're trying to wholesale, are you trying to find a fix and flip for yourself? So just determine what are you trying to do. That kind of determine how you approach MLS.
All right. So we got her in. Let's see here. Still here on we're still here on Facebook. Miranda Belthrop says, should you handwrite letters like your direct mail? Should they look handwritten?
That's a hit or miss, because a handwritten letter, it really why people write handwritten letters is because when someone open up a letter, if they just open up all their mail and it's typed up, they may look at it, may not. But if someone opened up a mail and it's like a handwritten letter to them and things of that nature, it makes them want to read it because it looks like someone took the time out to handwrite me a letter. So it's for them, it's to get their attention. But just like the postcards that Ty has, I feel get your attention as well when you put the actual picture of the property, of the homeowner's property right there on the postcard, which I think is a great tactic as well. Just think about getting a piece of mail in your mailbox and it has a picture of your house on it. Would that make you look at it? I'm sure it will, because you want to know who took a picture of your house and why the picture of your house is on this postcard. So you really doing things to get people attention because people get so much junk mail.
Okay, back over to YouTube. How would you recommend making offers daily? I said to make at least 5 offers daily, but where do you get your leads to make these offers? I think they're referencing some stuff I've said in the past. And what I normally tell people, and this is not just cut in stone, but if you want to do 5 deals a month, which is it's an okay amount, you can make a really good living doing that many. You're probably gonna need to talk to 5 people a day, and that's 100. So that over the course of a 30-day period, average, that's 150 sellers that you've talked to. Now, how do you talk to that many? Now, bandit signs could, Jenna, if you're doing a good job with a bandit sign campaign, making sure they're everywhere, pretty much as many places that will get some life out of them, you can generate that many just from bandit signs. Ideally, you would want to be doing multiple things. When I say an actual contact to a seller, it may be from a bandit sign call, it may be cold calling, it may be from bird dogs, it may be with your direct mail, what you may be doing on social media. So you want to try to do as many things as possible and as efficient as possible. And the biggest thing with that, which I guess I sort of have done it, but I went to a local seminar of a guy here. He and I actually put out he put on I will be on his podcast, and he invited me to this local seminar that he put on or whatever. And I never, I guess I've done it, but I never thought about it like this. Whenever you're doing all those different methods, it's all about tracking. It's all about tracking. So phone numbers are going to be one of the easier ways to track. So if you're doing a direct mail campaign, you need a phone number for that. You're doing bandit signs, you need a phone number for that. If you're doing cold calling, you need phone numbers for that because you want to know what's working. And the only way to do that is you're tracking where your leads are coming from and what you're spending versus what type of return you're getting on those different methods.
I like that. Well said.
Oh, you don't want to add anything?
I know. I don't add anything to that. That was definitely great. I like that. You want to track your methods, and you're totally right because marketing can get very expensive. So, so after a while, you begin to realize that you get a little bit more traction doing certain markets in marketing than you do others. And when you begin to understand that attraction that you're getting, you dump more marketing dollars in that particular bucket. So I think, yeah.
Okay, this is a simple question here. I'll put the same thing back up. What are your thoughts about handwritten bandit signs?
Oh,
That's all.
They work. They work. You know, from my understanding, there's some people that say handwritten bandit signs work better because it looks like a real person just written it or whatever the case may be, versus the printed ones that looks like a big company. So I would do, you know, trial and error. If you got 20 signs, do 10 handwritten, 10 printed or whatever. Handwritten is definitely cheaper because buying them printed is going to be more expensive. So either one works to me, to be honest.
I'm always with that. You're right. Something better than nothing. If that's what you can afford, boom, make it happen. You don't need but one deal. You can go print it or keep doing handwritten. You don't need but one deal. You'll have a decision to make. But that's one of those good problems. And on top of that, but one thing about handwritten, and I guess because I do it, and it's very important on the type of marker you use.
Absolutely.
I always shake my head when I see somebody write a sign and they didn't use the right marker.
With those Sharpie pens.
Yeah.
You gotta get one of the big, thick ones that you get from Home Depot. Is that the big bold ones? You got to get a big bold one, and they don't sell them everywhere. I only look to pick them up like Home Depot or something like that, or Lowe's. But it's not the regular Sharpie pens.
Yeah, where I normally get mine from, because I like to do an offset color if I can. You used to get red and blue from Michael's Arts and Crafts, you know, the superstore.
Yeah.
You can get the red and black now. I don't know why. What's the big outfit? I guess Sharpie. They stopped doing the blue bows, the big bows. But I like the offset because I used to have, well, I still do it in the red and black, but the red and blue look better together. They contrast better together. I'll have We Buy Houses in red and then the phone number in blue. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm trying to use it. See, normally when I do handwritten signs, if I do them, I'm going to only really use them for when I'm trying to attract buyers in a certain area that I may be struggling with buyers. So I'll just put cheap house for sale phone number or dirt cheap house for sale phone number. Your phone's going to ring off the hook. You put signs, you don't have to put out that many, 20 signs or so. And now you're going to get all kind of calls. Now you're going to get people calling and say, y'all do rent to own? Do y'all, it said house for sale. It said sale. You'll get people
still write their information down. You never know. One person can lead you to something else. You never know.
And then you'll get people calling. Can you need somebody to do some rehab work for you? You need somebody to cut I got a guy call me today. You need somebody to cut your grass on your properties. So you're going to get all that type of stuff. But you are going to get buyers calling is the point.
Right.
You're going to get real buyers. Now, some of the buyers that are going to call you will be people that are not investors. They just want to live in it. Looking for a house with a discount. They do the work themselves. Normally, in my experience over the years, those have been some of the better deals because they'll normally pay what you're asking. You know what I'm saying? Right. So not that you take it because the house still cheaper in retrospect. Right. So
in my opinion, anyone that called your sign is a lead. You know, no one is calling. You know, like I said, you're not going to call a 2-man in a truck sign unless you need 2 men in a truck. So they calling your sign and say we buy houses. Most likely, there's something that there's a lead there. You know, even if they want to find someone to cut their grass, they must be an absentee owner. Oh, sir, you're not home. You're an absentee owner. Are you looking to purchase? Do you have other properties that you want to liquidate? So turn everybody to a buyer and seller. Every person that call your phone, determine if because everyone is a buyer and a seller at one point in time in life.
Okay. All right. Still on YouTube. I love my play. Okay, here we go. Royston says, I put up 30 signs 3 weeks ago. All but 6 survived. That means 24 came down. That's what he's saying. Okay, switching to direct mail in certain spots. It really wasn't a question, but I wanted to just respond to that. Royston, 30 is not a lot, right? If that was all you're going to do. Now, 24 of them came down, which is the majority. That means you need to try a different area. Don't just give up on them. Now, you still, if you're going to spend, direct mail, fine, do direct mail. But just the 30 is not a lot. And then you put them in the area where, hey, I'm going to ask the question, did other signs exist in that area already?
And then piggyback on that, your sign's gonna come down. If you have these signs up Monday morning, just know all your signs gone. That's how I look at these signs. I don't even look back to go get these signs after Monday. So if you really cost effective and you know you need your signs, I would determine exactly where I put each and every one of my signs. And on Sunday night, I'm going back and pick them up. And me personally, I hire a young boy, a young group that I paid $1 every sign. So if I put 30 signs out there, I wanted them to go back and pick my signs up. And every sign they picked up, I gave them $1 for it. Understand where you're putting them at. If you're really thinking that you think these signs going to stay up for weeks, no. There's people that sweep the streets Monday through Friday. That's why we say put them up on the weekends. It's illegal all day long to put these signs up. Understand this. I don't want to put it out there like this stuff is legal. It's somewhat illegal. The reason why signs go up on the weekends because the team that sweeps the area do not work on the weekends. So their signs can stay up all weekend because there's nobody and that is patrolling the streets on the weekend that's sweeping those signs up. So if you know that you need your signs, just go back and pick them back up on Sunday night or Monday, early Monday morning, like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Because once that team get out there, they're gonna start sweeping those signs up.
Okay. Let me see here. Next question is all right. Deshari Thomas off of YouTube says, how do you handle a situation where the buyer wants to see the house that I have on the contract and the seller is there? That's a good
one. Okay. Which just happens all the time.
All the time.
Honestly, I try to separate the two. I try to separate the two all day. Honestly, I keep these two people away from each other. So whatever you need to do to keep the buyer and the end buyer and the seller and the end buyer away from each other, you got to do it. So you want to get there probably about 15, 20 minutes prior and tell her, hey, sir, we're just going to walk through. We'll be in and out your way. You can, whatever. You want to get there prior and kind of vet the seller to just get out your way, that you walk through this property. But some sellers are very tight. They don't release their keys. They don't have a lockbox on it. So you have to get your end buyer in there. So you have to just find a way to keep those two people separated and never allow them to have a conversation, and definitely not a conversation about money. So that is, it's kind of hit and miss every time. But most important, when I'm working with some situation like this, I usually try to get to the appointment way before, 15, 20, 30 minutes before, and I would pretty much vet the seller that I don't need his input. And that will be in and out, will be out his way very quickly. So basically set the tone, go somewhere, sit down, let me handle this. So you just want to set that tone. You got to set that tone. What you think, Sean?
All right, well.
I'm still trying to figure it out. It's like every time it's different, but I know that you got to separate the two. You got to keep both separated.
All right, this is okay. I like that. This is the way I normally handle it. It happens all the time, if it's a renter, it's a little different, but normally the seller's still going to be there because he's going to, well, not always. Sometimes they just let the renter know you're coming by or whatever. But I just go ahead and just have a conversation with the buyer, right? And I'm firm with him before I even, before he even gets to a point where you're going to go see the house. Now, well, keep in mind with me too, also, I'm going to always video the house that I do and upload to YouTube. And any buyer, before I even give them the address or anything, I text or email them the video. And most time I'm going to text them the YouTube link to the video. So, okay, once they see the video and they're still interested, okay, then now that's when I'm going to hit them. I'm like, the property is not vacant. All right, the owner is there. All right, now, okay, we discussed setting up a time. You can't just go by. We got to set up a time. or whatever, and understand that any discussions on price goes to me because I am wholesaling this property. I'm just transparent. If it's someone I've never done with, I'm taking this from the standpoint of this is someone I've never done business with before, right? Because if it's a guy I've done business with, it ain't no big deal or whatever. Right. You know, they already know what the deal is. But if someone I've never done deal with before, then I'm just going to make it clear. Now that doesn't always work out. I've had a couple to the wrong. Yeah. So, but for the most part, most guys are reasonable. And you always have to understand now, people are worried about the deals being stolen. You got to have two people to play in that arena. Most people, I always look at most people are reasonable, whether it's the seller or the buyer or both or one or other. Even if the buyer is a little underhanded or whatever, the seller will still have to agree with them to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And some people, knowing that they already on the contract with you, they don't want to be in a situation where they could possibly get sued. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it still wouldn't happen. I'm just saying you got to have both of them wanting to do that or whatever. So, but both work, obviously. Renee, she killing it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. But I know I'm going to get in the seller's grip on it.
I'm with you on that though.
In the buyer and the buyer's grip. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So. Right.
And then that depends on what's your relationship with the buyer. Right. If your relationship with the buyer, they know you are wholesaling it. It is what it is. But most importantly, you don't want anyone to speak numbers through your walkthrough. Nobody. No. You don't want nobody to speak. And you gotta make sure both parties or one of the parties at least understand there's no numbers that should be spoken during this walkthrough.
All right.
Control your deal and don't let your deal control you. Control the deal and control every party in that deal. And also, just a gem, don't take anyone to a property that you don't have locked down in the contract.
Oh no. Oh no.
Don't take anyone to a property you don't have locked down in the contract, and don't start marketing properties to people that you don't know at least if you don't have it under contract. Trust me, it's a dog-eat-dog world in this business. And the investor world is not regulated by the real estate commissioner. So anything happens in this world. So I had this happen a couple weeks ago. A guy sent me a deal that he did not have locked down. Next thing you know, he came back with some ridiculous price. Hey, what? So, hey, we're in the business. I skip traced the homeowner. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't know the guy who brought me the deal. And the fact that I could tell that he didn't have the deal under control, and I wanted the deal. So there's no need for everybody to lose out. So understand that there's people that will go around you if you're naive and a newbie and you don't have your stuff together and your paperwork together. People want to go around you all day. So control your deal and make sure you have your deals on the contract so no one will be able to go around you.
All right. Here's one on YouTube also. This may be more your arena. I've done fix and flip, but I hate them. Do you use home inspectors and contractors if you're going to fix and flip?
Oh, absolutely. If I'm going to fix and flip, definitely. I need all my numbers. I need multiple contractors, bids, unless you feel comfortable with your contractor. I need the home inspected. I need to get my architect out there. I need to get the sketch artist out there. I need everyone, so absolutely. I guess that's what you was asking.
Mm-hmm. All right. Back on face of the book. I hate to ask another question by Diana, but it's a good one. So I'm just asking the good questions. I think I am. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I was told to use my MLS to look up cash buyers. How would one market to them? How would you market to them?
If you can find their phone number, call them and let them know that you are an investor in the area and you have a database of properties and you're looking for other cash buyers who you could sell your inventory to. So if you have the phone number, call them. You have the business name, all that information is public records. pull their business up at the Secretary of State office and see if you can get a address or skip trace the business name and see if you can get a phone number. So if you have an address, you don't have a phone number, send them a letter and let them know that you are a investor in the area and you're looking to connect with other cash buyers because you have a database of properties that you're looking to sell.
Damn it. Trying to go back on to, damn it, back on Instagram. There we go. Okay. Let me see here. Mr. Smith off of YouTube. Can you go to your local county assessor's office to see what properties have tax liens, pre-foreclosures, etc.?
That's all public records. You can go to the county. It's usually a list online. It comes out every month. This list is a public records. Go to the county, and that list should be on your county website. It's a list of foreclosures that's going to be auctioned off on the courthouse steps. That list is public records in every county. You may want to call down to your county and determine and let them tell you exactly how to find it. But it's definitely on your county website.
Exactly what I was going to say. All county websites, as far as particular markets, are not created equally. You know what I'm saying? Some of those sites have been updated since they put them up 20 years ago, as far as functionality and how being user friendly. So it's going to depend on the county and how they produce information, how fast they produce, transactions, and how current it is. That's going to be just a hit or miss. The larger the market, normally going to get a little better. I guess I get a better side of it, but understand these are government agencies, and we've all dealt with going and buy our tags or paying, taxes or whatever. These people, no customer service is not high on the list or whatever. What type of day they're having is probably what you're going to get in return. So sometimes, like she said, you're just going to have to call down there and say, hey, where can I find this on the site or whatever, because it can be confusing or whatever. They probably spent a lot on getting those sites developed, but a lot of them not user friendly. Just keep that.
A lot of them not user friendly. You're right. I would just call down to the county and have them to direct you to where you can find that list.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess we'll go back to. All right. Miranda off of Facebook again. No, I'm gonna go with Zantrina. Zantrina, because I already asked one from Miranda. Sorry about that, Miranda. Zantrina Morton. Which method do you think this is best for a beginner? Fix and flip or wholesaling?
Wholesaling all day. Wholesaling, you can almost wholesale deals absolutely no money out your pocket. So wholesaling to me is where everyone should start. Unless you start as being a real estate agent, you learn a lot as being a real estate agent too. But if you're an investor, wholesaling is a great place to start because it's absolutely a little to no money out your pocket. So, it doesn't hurt you as much if you get a huge fix and flip and, have carrying costs and things of that nature. You made it do your numbers right. Now you out of $40,000, $50,000. So wholesaling to me is a great place to start because it teaches you what is a good deal, what is not a good deal. So you begin to understand, this deal went fast. Why did this deal go fast? This deal, I held on to it for a long time. It must not be a good deal. So it began to teach you what is a good deal. And it also teaches you what areas are great areas too. So you learn a lot as you are an investor, as acting like you are a true investor. You learn a lot about your local market, and you learn a lot about what is a good deal and what's not a good deal. Why this investor took this deal over this deal. So you just begin to learn a lot. So I think as a cost-effective way to get in the game, wholesaling is the number one cost-effective way to get in the game.
Yeah, I'm going to totally agree. I may be a little biased, but I'm going to totally agree because See, wholesaling to me, right, as she said, it's going to allow you, it's very rare that you can go into a business, Renikia, that the first transaction, you're profitable. It ain't too many businesses like that, right?
Right.
And it allows you, as she said, learn the business and make money at the same time. If you make a mistake in wholesaling, you're talking maybe a few $100s. You know what I'm saying? A mistake. Whereas with a fix and flip, if you mess around and miscalculate like on a foundation issue or something like that, it may put you back just out of real estate altogether. You'd be like, screw real estate. This is some bull. You know what I'm saying?
You don't even want to go home.
I'm telling you.
You don't want to see your own house. You just having some debt.
Yeah. But, you know, what I like to say with wholesaling is that you may get a little embarrassed sometimes. You know, egg on your face is free, but that experience that you get from that is going to be more valuable than anything she or I can teach you. You know, learned experience, normally bad learned experiences, those are the best, those are the best ways to learn anything. You know, because we would like to think you don't repeat that or you'll know how to go about it differently. But to answer the question, there's no question, in my opinion, as I say, if you got $10 in the bank or 10 million or a 450 credit score at 850, learn how to wholesale, because number one, she said, you'll know what a deal is. You'll have to. That's the only way you can wholesale it. It has to be a deal good enough where you can make money and your buyer can make money. You know, so you won't ever lose that mentality. You won't ever lose that mentality on what, you know, a wholesale mentality is for when you're negotiating. And that can only benefit if you do move on to fix and flips or even rentals. You won't ever lose that that mentality of what a deal is or whatever. So
absolutely. And when you wholesale a deal to a real investor or investor that's actually going to rehab it and flip it, you ask them, hey, can I stick around and learn how you rehab this property? So, you know, it gives you a chance to learn the business without really putting a lot of skin in the game. And even when you get to a point where you graduate from wholesaling to fixing and flipping, you always want to wholesale. Like, I don't care how big I get in this game, I will always wholesale because I know it's a numbers game. I may look at 20 houses, but I know I'm only I'm only going to fix and flip one. So what I do with the other 20 houses, they could be good deals. I'm a wholesale to my other investor partners who wants to flip as well. So I can make money on those deals. So always have a wholesale mentality. Always, because every deal that comes past your table, you may not want, but it may fit somebody else, you know, the criteria. So.
All right, this is a direct question to you. Hey, do you do transactional funding, Renikia?
I do transactional funding. But most importantly, you want to structure your deals where you don't need it. Find you an attorney, because yeah, absolutely. But find your attorney who will allow you to do a double closing without you having to bring the funds to the table. And you can still use your end buyer's money. Find your attorney that allows you to do double closing.
All right. From Tony Murphy off of Facebook. How do you determine the ARV for a rehab area or project that you know is a tear down and a rebuild? How do you know what to offer and how much to wholesale it for?
Regardless if it's tear down and rebuild, the numbers are still the same. So you want to determine what is the comps, what is the ARV? What is the and ARV is any properties in the area that's probably was a tear down and rebuild, but you can also look at properties that were just a complete full rehab. Most likely it's got to be some comps in the area that have been rehabbed in that area. So you determine that. Your wholesale fee is truly determined by those numbers. The most important three numbers that I only really look at when I'm wholesaling a deal, because I'm not taking upon the risk. Therefore, I'm not going the extra mile. All I need to know is how much I'm getting it for. I need to know how much is the rehab amount. So, you know, you want to know that, because that really determines the deal. and what can I resell it for? What is the ARV? If I know those three answers to every deal, I can determine my wholesale fee. And let's speak numbers, I guess. So say for instance, the ARV is $250,000. The purchase price is $100,000, and the rehab amount is $25,000. So I know that most investors, they will purchase anything around 60 to 70% after repair value. So $250,000 is my after repair value. 7% of $250,000 is $175,000. So that means that my end buyer will want to be all in minimally at $175,000. So with that being said, if I know that I'm purchasing it for $100, the rehab is $25, that means my end buyer is in at $125. I have about a $50,000 spread where if I go up a little bit, he'll still take it because it's a good deal. So I may put $15,000 on it. I can really put 20. I can really wholesale for 120 because he'll be all in at 150 and he can wholesale for 250 and make $100,000. So to me, that's how I look at my deals. And I only worry about those three numbers, and determining what my all-in cost in correlation to the after repair value will determine my wholesale fee. Because I know that my end buyers and my investors think a great deal is still a good deal if they 70% on the dollar. But a great deal is 60% on the dollar. So that's how I kind of determine my wholesale fee, depending on what I'm purchasing it for, how much is the rehab, and how much can my end buyer make on this property.
All righty. Folks, we're an hour plus in. We really appreciate Renikia doing what she do as always with a wealth of knowledge. Again, Adrian wasn't here, so hopefully she'll be back next week. But you got anything you want to add, baby girl, before we get out of here?
If anyone, like I know a lot of people is contacting me about credit and my gap funding program. If you have any question, just shoot me an email. Shoot me an email, and I definitely try to get to those emails on a daily or every couple day basis because it gets so many of them. But at funding, FUNDING, at fkfinancials.com. So please shoot me an email. Don't forget, we do have gap funding for any individuals that want to graduate a little bit from wholesale and they want to start fixing and flipping. We have an opportunity for you to be able to leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000 for you to be able to structure your first rehab deal. It comes at 0% interest for the first 18 months. We only care about the first 18 months. How many deals can I move in an 18-month period that's going to maximize my my profits in 18 months? How many deals can I do? It allows you to do it at 100% financing. So and that's what we show you. So if you want to get started on that, please go to findmynextdeal.com and to get you in contact with me. If you have any questions and you already been through the system or anything of that nature, please email me at funding@fkfinancials.com. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and all those. So feel free to reach out to me as well.
Boom. Okay. Well, guys, I hate to do this, but we're going to end this baby. And we really appreciate everyone that showed up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you are alerted whenever I upload new content and when we go live every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. So again, we appreciate everyone that showed up tonight, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.